What's good, Storm fans? I am Bryant Cook, and tonight I'm joined by the one, the only, TonyScapone. Welcome back.
Hey, what's going on?
Happy to be here. Tony, you've brought us another creation of yours, Black Saga Storm. It's pretty descriptive in the name. We're a Black Storm deck with Urza's Saga, one of the key cards from Modern Horizons 2. And originally you were calling this deck Black Ant, but I think Black Saga Storm, honestly, I know you might have been a little bit disappointed to change the name. It is a little more accurate. It gives people a better idea. And tell us a little bit about how Urza Saga plays out in this deck.
Sure. So you might notice this shell is very similar to what we did before with the Painter Black Storm deck, and that's kind of where it's coming from. There's kind of been this evolution, but Saga plays a very important role in giving us a different dynamic to attack from, right? And it just slots in together so well, because one of the main things I've noticed about going mono black. Well, first off, one of the benefits of monocolored is we can use soul lands. We don't have these colors that kind of tear us in different directions. And sorry, I lost my train of thought there. So Saga can allow us to attack on the ground, and at the same time, there's this like ticking time bomb, basically moving it right into LED. It becomes very modal, because not only do you have that LED if you have action in your hand, but you can get opal or baubles to just kind of keep things rolling. Obviously, you can equip up with Shadow Spear and become a very, very aggressive construct deck. And at the same time, it's very modal, because also we can flashback Cabal Therapy, right? So Saga, the modality is just absolutely insane. And it's very threatening, and doesn't the cost of slowing ourselves down just a little bit, not playing as many soul lands, but instead Saga, I think is greatly overcome by the addition that we get from just the modality that the card brings to this style of deck.
Okay. So one thing I did notice when I was importing this deck earlier is, Tony, you have 10 discard spells. That is so many. It's like basically you're running infinite discard. Do you mind elaborating on why we're running 10?
So I think one of the reasons this deck can successfully run Saga in a Storm deck is because of discard spells. Honestly, it dawned on me one day I was watching Phil Thraben U, and he plays a lot of these like mono black decks, right? And you look at these lists and you're like, okay, this has way too much discard. And then I start to see how like it can be super powerful, right? And although I think just jamming a shit ton of discard in any old deck is not necessarily going to be, the greatest long-term plan, what I did notice is that significant offensive disruption is very good with Saga. It's one of the reasons why 8-cast thrives, is because it has the threat on the ground of Urza Saga, in addition to Force of Will just disrupting what the opponent's doing, and that's exactly what discard does. So again, discard becomes modal in that when you cast discard, you're not just looking to take Force of Will, right? And I'll get to why there's 10 as well. But you can take their threat, you can take their expressive iteration, you can subtract their game plan, right? And then come back to the Force of Wills later, or whatever it is. And if you look at their hand and they only have one piece of removal, well, you can sidestep and just beat them up with constructs. And to answer your question directly, 10 as opposed to something like maybe 7 or 8 or 6 or whatever, I have found that people, certainly you, and I think correctly so, have identified that maybe duress is not as great as it used to be, and discard in general isn't as great as it used to be. But I have found that if you are going to choose to go a discard route, you need a lot of disruption, right? And discard is what this deck chooses to use as disruption, right? But one of the reasons why discard has gotten so much worse is because card quality has gone up, right? I'm sure most people have heard this enough, and it is true. If your opponent's card quality has gone up across the board, then when you go to discard them and there's 4 or 5 things you need to that are problems, then obviously your discard loses some equity, right? So I think it is necessary to either have different disruption in addition to your discard, whether it be Veil or Grid or whatever a lot of other Storm decks and other decks are doing, or you just have to overload on it. And I think overloading works not only well just generally as a theory, but also with this deck for kind of the reasons I was saying before is you can take their threats knowing that you have more discard coming down the line. You can ignore the Force of Will or the double Force of Will, or the Force of Will and Force of Negation, knowing that not only do you have a high density of discard, but also you get equity with Constructs and Cabal Therapy. That's not like a little cutesy thing in this deck. Like, it comes up a fair amount.
Okay. So we've talked about Saga, we've talked about the discard. At its core, this really is a Storm deck. We have Lotus Petal, we have Lion's Eye Diamond, Dark Ritual, the Ant Staple, Cabal Ritual, 4 Infernal Tutor, 4 Wishclaw, so 8 Black Tutors, a Singleton Burning Wish that gives us a little bit of flexibility. It can grab that sideboard Tendrils or Peer into the Abyss, or even the Echo in case you mulligan really low. That is an option. And then obviously Tendrils of Agony and Ad Nauseam. So it is still a Storm deck. And then we have Shadow Spear as well for the constructs so that we can gain some life, which does help with your Ad Nauseam.
Yep. Yeah, make no mistake. First and foremost, this is not only an Ad Nauseam deck, but it intends to be a turbo Ad Nauseam deck. That meaning really two things. One, it tends to cast Ad Nauseam sooner than your average Ad Nauseam deck wants to. And two, when it does, it is very good at converting the Ad Nauseam into a kill, even at lower life totals.
In this sideboard, we have Leyline of the Void and Helm of Obedience, kind of a former staple. Obviously not in like your Ad Nauseam Burning Wish decks, but I mean, this is reminiscent of Iggy Pop, the Cabal Ritual, Dark Ritual, Infernal Tutor deck. Obviously, Legacy's elevated itself to the point where Ill-Gotten Gains doesn't really see play anymore, but the Helm line is still there. That's always nice to see. We have some interesting cards in the sideboard like Slaughter Pact and Fatal Push. I have to imagine that these are targets for Wishclaw Talisman. We have some Saga targets as well. We have Aether Spellbomb, Needle, and then Haywire Might from Brothers War. I thought that this was really interesting. At first I was like, I don't know, Tony. We only have like Mox Opals and Petals, but in situations where you need Haywire Might, I mean, you have Lion's Eye Diamond too. Not that you want to do that, but a lot of those cards could also be destroyed by Needle or interrupted by Needle. So I think that the more I thought about this, the better it actually became.
Yeah, it really has overperformed. I was initially hesitant as well, and then it became a one of, and then it has really just solidified itself as a two of, because in the matchups that we want it, we really do want it, and we oftentimes don't want it in our hand, getting stuck behind a Chalice on one. So it's important not only to make sure that you can get it off Urza Saga, but it's also just fine with having two, because oftentimes you want to.
For sure. So, Tony, is there anything else you would like to say before we hop on in?
Yeah, I think there's two main things to address. One, of course, the Soul Burning Wish, right? I should discuss that. And two, of course, the fact that we have ley lines, and you might be thinking, well, what the hell? When you bring those in, your Ad Nauseam's really going to suck. So Burning Wish is simply just a way to... in Mono Black, you have this problem where you can only work within your main deck, so you're weak to things like Surgical or getting locked out behind Chalice or discarding your Tendrils. So then you have this problem that you have to fix, and there's so many different things you can do, and I've tried many of them. Running multiple Tendrils, running a main deck Grape Shot instead, running maybe 2 Burning Wish, running for a while I was running Mastermind's Acquisition, just all these different ways so that you're not just you go to Ad Nauseam and it's actually not doing anything because your deck doesn't have anything to actually kill the opponent, right? And Burning Wish is a way to do a couple of things. One, it gives you effectively another Tendrils, right, that not only cost less than Tendrils, so it hurts less with your Ad Nauseam, but you do get a little bit of flexibility. It's not for nothing that we can pull things out of our sideboard, right? And one of the main things that it does is it extends your Black Tutors into your sideboard, right? So your Infernal Tutor becomes an 11 mana Peer line. And if you don't think that's attainable, you haven't played these Storm decks and a portion of these cards that you see in front of you enough. I'm sure Bryant, without having played this this specific list just yet. I'm sure you can already see that that's going to come up in quite often. Even with the Wish Claw, one more, make it a 12 mana line.
I was
These
just
things
about
come
to
up.
say that. Yeah, I've definitely done that.
Yep, exactly. So, and it's not impossible that we just have Burning Wish in our opener. Like it absolutely happens. And in the unlikely event that you wind up with Burning Wish and Tendrils in your hand, you wind up in some sticky situations sometimes, right? But you can get your Echo and just shuffle the Tendrils back in. Like it's okay. You might make the mistake once of grabbing your Peer into the Abyss and then realizing your Tendrils is in the graveyard. And I've made that mistake exactly once, and I won't make that again. I don't think it's necessary to go putting multiple Burning Wish or really starting to over-fix that problem. It's rare enough a situation where, just grab the Echo, spin the wheel, and kind of restart type of thing. But as far as the ley lines, right? So in these matchups that we bring in ley line, it's not for your Delver matchup. It's not for your Cephalid Breakfast matchup. It's not for these kind of light graveyard decks. It's for your dedicated graveyard decks. It's for the faster decks that we want to have a chance if we lose the die roll and we're forced to win game 2 and then 3 on the draw, right? So,
Oops All Spells, Black Red Reanimator.
Oops All Spells. Exactly. Basically those 3. Those are the main ones, right? And when we bring in Leyline, of course, we bring in Helm. We actually take Ad Nauseam out, and we take the Burning Wish out, and we become a Peer deck instead. We still have access to, if Leyline is in play, right, and there's, you're not afraid of your Leyline getting blown up, Helm plus Activate is 5 mana. So you still have the same total converted mana cost, I win button, whatever you want to call it. Helm plus Activate kind of becomes the new Ad Nauseam, right? And then you have Peer into the Abyss in your main deck that you get to bring in, Echo that you get to bring in. These are cards that I would love to have in my main deck, but Ad Nauseam does have restrictions despite its power level. So, and there's, some sideboarding, particulars that we'll go through as we play this league. But generally speaking, that's kind of the game plan on the Leyline plan.
All right, Tony, where can the fans find you?
Where can you find me? You can find me just by searching TonyScapone, whether it be on Twitch, YouTube. You can Google me, find my stuff, Twitter, Discord. It's all the same. All one word, TonyScapone.
Sounds good. All right, Tony, once again, thank you for joining me. I hope that we 5-0 with the Sweet Brew tonight, and I hope to see everyone else in round number 1. Don't go anywhere. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. You can also show your support by becoming a member of this channel. You get sweet perks such as badges, emotes, exclusive members-only content, and access to our members Discord section. As you increase the tiers, there are other rewards such as shop discounts, sideboard guides, early access to videos, and even free donation decks. Click the join button down below to find out more. We also have other ways you can support us, such as theepicstorm.com/shop or submitting a donation deck via theepicstorm.com/donation decks. That's enough for now. Let's play some Magic. Match number 1. Tony, we're facing EMC. We're on the play. I'm guessing we don't want to be on the draw. And we've opened up... I mean, this hand's good. So we can do... I'm just going to talk this through. We can either go turn 1 Thoughtseize off of Volta Whispers, or we can imprint Infernal Tutor, and cast Infernal Tutor for Dark Ritual, and then turn 2 Thoughtseize double Dark Ritual Ad Naus. I don't know which line you would do. I'd probably take the chance on our opponent not killing us, and I'd cast the turn 1 Infernal Tutor, but you're the master. What would you do here?
They've also mulliganed to 5.
That is true.
Which honestly could strengthen your argument probably equally for either line. I think I'm leaning more towards... I think that actually leans me a bit more towards just Thoughtseizing them. I mean, having to mull the 5 and then getting Thoughtseized is just, no matter what you're playing, that's got to be brutal.
We're also only 1 mana away from a Ad Nauseam line anyway. So if we just draw something that makes a mana, and they're on Cephalid Breakfast, I think we leave the Forcible and we just take this Thoughtseize.
Yeah, I'd say so. It's a pretty good 5.
Yeah. Also, I hate this deck. I lose to Cephalid Breakfast more than any other deck in Legacy at the moment.
We have some considerable game. The 10 discard spells really help.
Okay, so Baleful Strix, Forcible, and One Unknown. That's a good one.
Yeah, it is.
I'm going to cast Infernal Tutor here, Tony. You're not allowed to stop me. I'm sorry. Can't stop, won't
Yeah, I
stop.
agree.
Grab that ritual. Too bad that Urza Saga can't get a discard spell. We gotta work on that.
No, I mean, the best you can get from it is Hope of Giripur, which, trust me, it was one of the first cards that I tested in these
I love
shells.
Hope of
And
Gerber so much.
me too. Me too.
How do you feel about just imprinting Infernal and start making big dumb beaters?
Imprinting Infernal. Well, honestly, I'm not sure we need both Dark Rituals because we can still cast Ad Nauseam off of one. And what I like is that if our Ad Nauseam gets countered, which they're gonna have to counter it,
But
then
why?
we have Infernal Tutor. Although Infernal Tutor doesn't really go anywhere without.
Yeah,
Yeah, that makes sense.
like I don't see us running into this Forcible, and this Infernal Tutor doesn't get a whole lot.
It's possible we should have bobbled first. Oftentimes, it's correct to just bobble ourselves.
Yeah,
I don't think it's
sorry.
totally clear. I suppose we can just bobble them, right? I don't think it really matters now or on their turn. I suppose they have Cabal Therapy.
Well, they're drawing Underground Sea.
Yeah. At least it's not Cephalid. We really want to hit a discard spell.
Yeah. Oh, come
Yeah.
on.
Yeah,
Oh,
there's no main deck. Yeah,
wow.
you got us.
What a 5. What a 5. Okay. Well, how are we boarding versus Cephalid Breakfast?
So we do not bring in ley lines. You could consider Fatal Push, but I don't think it's necessarily good enough. We want Haywire Mites and we want Pithing Needles so that we can hit stuff. Haywire Mite can hit Urza Saga. It can hit their equipment. It's pretty good. And then Needle obviously can lock down some of their combo pieces. What do we want to remove? So honestly, I would take out some of the baubles. I'd take out one Urza's bauble, one of the Mishra's baubles, and probably just another bauble, another Mishra's bauble. We're kind of under the gun to disrupt them and use our own game plan.
Okay. So
I
just a,
do like Shadow Spear because they are a Saga deck, so we do want to be the superior Saga deck if it comes to that.
just a thought here, Tony. In decks like the Epics or Mishra's Bobble is better because we have fetch lands, so that way you get a pseudo scry.
Mm.
Here you don't have fetch lands and your Cabal Therapy deck. Why only 2 Ursus Bobble and 4 Mishras?
What you're saying? Potentially favoring Urza's Bauble over Mishra's?
I think I would just because you don't have fetch lands and
Mm.
your Cabal Therapy deck.
So oftentimes it really helps to bobble the top of their deck before you discard because it informs your discard. And I've started to learn that because I don't automatically, I just discard. And then I realize, oh, I really want to know the top of their deck as I'm trying to decide. So Mishra's Bubble, and if you have 2 of them, you can look at the top of their deck and our deck. Basically, you get information from their hand through discard, and then you get perfect information even for the next turn if you can look at the top of their card. Urza's Bobble, with this much discard, oftentimes just shows you cards that you already saw.
That makes sense. Duress.
I do like having access to it because with Saga, sometimes it is the card that you want. If they're holding that one card in their hand, or they have one unknown and you want to have a 50-50 shot of seeing the other one, sometimes it's pretty good.
Flooded Strand Pass.
Let's Strand Pass, and they have Narcomoeba in their hand.
I think we just
plus
play the
one
Haymire
unknown.
Might.
Narcomoeba plus 1 unknown. Yeah, sure.
Really wanted to draw a land there so we could play out the Wishclaw. I don't think you're supposed to pedal into Wishclaw. Like mana's our bottleneck right now, so
There might come a point where we do. Depends what our draws do here. We're probably going to want to Thoughtseize them, though, after this.
Yeah, they did not shuffle. And they fetch immediately. Getting a scrub land.
Probably a pending. Yep.
So Narcomoeba, Strand, and one unknown. That was a terrific draw. So
3, 4.
we can play Wishclaw here, and then next turn we have Ad Nauseam with Thoughtseize back up.
Yep.
And they drew Force. I mean, that's fine with me.
Yeah.
They have one unknown. Come on, Dark Ritual. So we could just slam the Cabal here.
It's wrecked by Daze or like Fluster or something. I think we're supposed to, though, right?
I mean, I would if I was playing on my own.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just one draw. If you don't have what it takes to rip it here, you probably shouldn't be playing a Storm deck.
Tony, I'm not going to lie to you. After this round, we probably got to restart Magic Online. I am lagging terribly right now.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Okay, so it resolved. And Mox Opal already with the Metalcraft thanks to Vault of Whispers. We hit the Burning Wish. I'm like afraid of accidentally killing myself with this Ad Nauseam right now. Not because of the deck, but because of the lag. I'm like, I don't want to hit yes too many times.
You know, I never took you for a laggy kind of guy.
I normally don't have it, but I was doing like some like editing earlier today, and I'm wondering if like, I don't know. We'll just stop there. Got to make those YouTube shorts, Tony. And then Jordan needed an image for his stream tonight. If you're watching this, today would be Friday, assuming that you're watching it right now, which means that Jordan streamed last night. You can go watch that video. But I had to make an image for that. So I was just doing a bunch of editing and stuff, and now my computer is being glacial.
Mm.
Do we change anything on the draw, Tony?
I wouldn't say so.
All right, then. Let's hope that our opponent mulligans to 5 again and keeps Narcomoeba. I don't think we're keeping that one.
Nope.
I like this. Bottom the Haywire.
Yeah. Or even one of the tutors?
I like, so they're a deck with their own discard, and we don't have a green source.
Yeah, we did see Thoughtseize. They always play Thoughtseize in addition to Cabal Therapy?
Yeah. I think that...
Yeah, go for it.
I firmly believe that these are the 6 we want. I remember when Wishclaw came out, people that played a lot of Ant, look at us, were like, you don't need Wishclaw and Infernal Tutor in the same deck. TES plays 8 tutors, that's too many. And then slowly over time, the standard has just become more and more Wishclaw talismans. You'll love to see it.
If they printed another good 2-mana tutor, I think this deck would play, if not 12, very close to 12.
Thoughtseize you back.
Okay, so here we have a choice. The obvious choice seems to be Force of Will, right? But we do have a Saga plan kind of brewing on our own half.
They don't have a white source for this Teferi.
Right. Honestly, all these cards are pretty annoying. Having said that, we are somewhat close to our own, like, Ad Nauseam.
I would take the Force. Just throwing it out there. I'll let you pick, but I would take Force.
I don't think I would. But I don't know what the other thing I would take is. Brainstorm kind of makes it so they can't...
They're probably playing Baleful Strix.
Right. Which we don't care about too much. Like, we'll make 2 constructs most likely. Yeah, take the Force. Take the Force. Because it's not guaranteed that we're even going to be able to make constructs very well. We don't have Vault of Whispers. We have Swamp.
So, Tony, I'm going to draw Lion's Eye Diamond, which is why we wanted to take the Force.
I like it.
Okay, so they've now seen 2 cards we don't know about. That was not Lion's Eye Diamond. Old Frame Artifact, just the wrong one.
But it's not bad. We could, if we really wanted to dip into the Saga plan, we could copy a Lotus Petal. However, taking Force of Will is a bit inconsistent with that plan, so I don't think that would necessarily be advised here.
I'm just going to pass.
Yeah.
We could have played Saga on the first turn, and they drew their white source for Teferi. See if they play it.
They can bounce Saga.
Yeah, it is an enchantment. There's the Teferi. And they do bounce the Saga. Come on, Lion's Eye Diamond. Does that do it?
It does. If we want to go for it. How many unknown cards do they have? 2?
3.
Oh, 3, right. Yeah, draw step. Teferi and Strix. I mean, I say we go.
Storm 1, Dark Ritual. Storm 2, Dark Ritual. Mox Opal. Lotus Petal. Infernal Tutor. Peanut butter and jam, Tony. That's what we're here for. Ad nauseum. Hey. Love to see it. Everyone's going to think that Storm players are just basically the Fonz going, hey. If you're a Zoomer, you would not get that reference. I'm sorry.
Is that inaccurate, though? I don't completely understand where you're going with that. Are we not the Fonz? Hey, we got him.
I mean, I'm wearing a jean jacket. I would need like a black leather jacket to be the Fonz, I think, but close enough. Mm-hmm. Close enough. Tony, we won match number 1. I did call winning match number 1, did I not?
You did.
So Tony said we were going to lose match 1 and then win out. And I was like, Tony, I'm playing. Please, we will win match 1 and then go 2-3.
And then go 2-3.
But forget that. We're going to try to 5-0. So stick around, enjoy match number 2, and I will restart Magic Online in the meantime.
Hey.
Moxfield.com is the easiest way to build a Magic deck online. They support over 30 formats, including Legacy and many other Eternal formats. There are so many options to view decks the way that you want, from text view to individual cards, mana value, and even card price. There's also light mode and dark mode. My personal favorite feature is card tags. This way you can sort cards by function. Moxfield supports collection tracking, Scryfall search, decklist feedback, and so much more. Follow me on Moxfield.com so you can stay updated on all of my decks. Match number 2. Tony, we're on the play. I feel like we're going to win. I'm calling it now. Here we have Saga, Shadow Spear, Bauble, Opal. I am down to keep this and just beat them down with Saga constructs.
Yeah, I mean, it involves not, I think, being kind of patient with our Bauble.
I would agree. For sure.
You could roll the dice, and it's not even very low. Like, it's pretty high % chance that you'd be fine. But when, I'd be happy to draw another Bauble, which kind of makes you think, like, maybe I'll just keep the card that I would want to draw.
We're going to play out a Bauble here into the Opal. I have to imagine, like, getting paired against the username Bryant_Cook in the first land being Urza Saga and a Shadow Spear. You're like, this doesn't look like a combo deck.
Yep. I will say, if you usually play super fast combo decks, you can really get people with Urza Saga because they'll molt to their Force Will and then get like turn 1 Duress or Saga.
Are you facing Manaless Dredge? We are.
We are.
So this gets Lion's Eye Diamond next turn, which would be Ad Nauseum.
Yep. See, that's kind of the irony too, is because you'll beat them up with constructs. And then they'll think you're slower, and then next game you just turn 1 Ad Naus them, and like I can't win. Yeah, this is kind of showing how the deck can just pivot, right? We're gonna put up some constructs, but we also just have lethal incoming.
Mm-hmm. They did it a therapy, but it looks like there's no Street Wraith to continue dredging. All right, on their end step, we will tap these.
And we can use our Bauble.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
We don't necessarily have to, but I think we should.
Look at their top card. Dread Return. We'll draw off the Bauble. Draw step. We'll stack this so that way we search first. Tap this for a mana. Go get the Lion's Eye Diamond. Actually, I wonder if we can just natural tendrils here.
What, in addition to beating down with the construct?
So we swing for 7. It puts them into 13. Hold on.
Or, you know what? You could equip and Then we could add Nas and we'll be at like 28 life, which probably isn't as good as just killing them if we actually have lethal, but it is really fun to add Nas with outrageous amounts of life.
Yeah, I'm just trying to do the math real quick. So if we make another construct, this goes up to 7. And then our storm would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're short. We should just equip.
But you can tutor chain once, right?
Can we?
1, 3, 4, 7. Now we're 1 short, I think.
I think we're gonna take your line, Tony.
Do it.
Hiya. I didn't think we would actually get to add Nas from above 20.
Comes up more often than you might think. Haywire Mite gaining life also comes up.
Alright, let's tap this. Hold control. I had a comment recently on one of my videos. They're like, why do you always emphasize holding control? Because if you don't, you're going to mess up at some point in your life. Like, it's not that I think that you need to do it every time, but it's good to let the audience know that it's something I'm thinking about and that it's something that can go wrong where you just like take it for granted, you accidentally misclick, and there goes a match. And the opponent just snap concedes. Well, not before I can put ad nauseum on the stack. Too fast.
You're gonna see it, all right.
All right, so we're facing Manaless Dredge, which, Tony, I want the ley lines, okay? I want them.
Yep. Ley lines, helm, echo, pier.
Oh, you boarded in the Echo. I didn't realize that. Okay. Whoops. I just boarded it into Slaughter Pact on accident.
Someone wasn't listening during the deck tech.
Well, you said pier. You didn't say Echo.
Yeah, I did.
Shh. Do we want Shadow Spear? I don't think we do.
Usually in these ley line matchups we don't, but they're kind of an on the ground. This might be an exception, right? They're just trying to. No, they're like a combo. They're more combo than regular Dredge, right?
So it depends. A lot of lists are running like Balustrades by to mill their entire deck.
Right.
I personally don't like those lists, but a lot of people that play Manaless do because it feels cool. I think it's kind of win more personally, but whatever.
But my point is, when they go off, they just kill you all, and they actually combo you rather than just like attacking with zombies. And I mean, they do that some as well, but not as much.
I would board it out personally.
Yeah, I'm fine with taking out Shadow Spear.
Okay, so we take out the Burning Wish, and then we need 4 more.
Yeah, although I think I would also. So, did they bring in? What do they do? They bring in ley lines, like ley line of Sanctity. I might bring in a Haywire Mite. Okay. What Haywire Mite also does is it prevents Serenity. I don't know if they play Serenity. I don't know Manaless Dredge as much.
We have one American minute to take out 5 cards.
I would take out an Urza's Bauble, 2 Mishra's Baubles, 1 Mox Opal.
1 more.
And one Cabal Ritual.
Where is it?
Or, you know what? I'm sorry. We don't need all this discard. I would add back the Opal and the Cabal Ritual and take out the Cabal Therapies. This is fine.
Hitting submit. Tony, you're making me anxious over there. That was too low on clock. I don't like it. Don't like it one bit. So they put us on the play. Unfortunately, we open up on City of Traders because Thoughtseize is actual time walk in this matchup, but we're not allowed to keep this.
And Thoughtseize a lot. Ooh.
So this is a turn 3 pier.
So are you thinking of just literally bottoming Infernal Tutor?
I would bottom Saga. Because you Infernal Tutor on turn 2 for another Dark Ritual into pier, unless you want to not show them you have... Actually, that's probably better.
You can just cast pier itself, right? I don't want to bottom Saga. I think it's, if anything, if you would bottom a land, you just bottom Vault. Well, I guess you need Vault for...
I think it's Opal. Bottom Tutor because you don't want to tell them you have double Dark Ritual.
Yeah.
From the therapy deck.
And I like having Saga here. We can go turn 2 Saga. Yeah, they do have the ley line.
Excuse me, I'm dying over here. All right.
You went turn 1 Saga.
I did. Don't eat Cheerios before recording, everyone. You will die on camera.
Why'd you turn 1 Saga?
So that way we can get mana with it on turn 3 when we go to Pier.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I just don't think that we could also make a construct here.
We're only... Yes, now that we hit Chromox. I think it would have been fine to just play turn 2 Saga, because really we only need to hit 1 more mana to be able to cast Pier, and it guarantees that we can make constructs.
Okay. Like, I don't know. I just don't think that this game is really about beating down with constructs unless they happen to have Force of Will in their hand.
Yeah, may not.
Alright. I also like how this was a mulligan. Like, they just time walk themselves by putting Leyline into play. We'll make a big dumb beater. They discard Grave Troll. We'll take a draw. Another Saga. So, I just want to talk this out loud. So we could make another construct here and then go get a mana.
I mean, we just have Pier.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think that if they had Force, how can we best beat it? But I think that this is still just fine.
Yeah, because we still have another Saga. We can just play Saga as our land drop, and then we're fine.
Grab Petal, I guess. Like, I don't actually want the Haymire Might yet.
Right, yeah, we need a mana source, and we didn't tap Opal, which would be the same thing anyways.
Dark Ritual. Urza Saga. I would like to go to Disbis. Oh, also, really sweet win would be us naturally just playing 16 artifacts and swinging with the 2020 construct. That would be best. There's our Haywire Might. Okay.
You might not know this, but thanks to Vintage, Bryant actually has a fair amount of experience with Urza Saga in combo decks and even, well, maybe not necessarily Storm combo decks in Vintage. Most of them are like Breach or Tinker decks, but what's up?
Didn't hit any other zeros off this. So the Haywire Might can work, but we have to Wishclaw for a green source.
That's fine.
Also, people don't like it with... Ooh, I could have played a Dark Ritual and got more mana.
Yeah.
That was my fault. I didn't realize it until I cast it.
Do we still have enough? We do,
right? Don't think so.
3, 1. Can we play... I think we have enough. I think we have enough to play. Do we have another Wishclaw?
Yeah, this cost us. Me being too click happy. So we can play the Haywire and then we can Echo.
Yeah. We might have to. How much can we hit him with this construct? It might be worth...
I think we should Echo first because we could just draw into more artifacts. We're only losing one artifact here. They just conceded.
It just scooped.
So me punting didn't even matter, Tony, and we're 2-0. Look at that. Look at that.
We could also Burning Wish for
we boarded out the Burning Wish.
Kill the Leyline. Oh, right.
You told me. You don't even know who wasn't listening to their board plans now, Tony. But back to my unpopular opinion, the Dark Ritual decks in Vintage just kind of suck, so you have to play like the Blue Tinker Saga decks. Like, Dark Petition Storm is unplayable. If you're a DPS fan, wake up, the year is 2023. Beside the point, we're going to match number 3. Stick around, we're going to win that one too. Looking to make playing your favorite combo deck much easier? Look no further than the Epic Storm Mini Token Combo Pack, which is available at theepicstorm.com/shop for $14.99. This combo token pack comes with 84 double-sided tokens. That includes our classic Storm and mana tokens, as well as fan favorites such as Goblins, Squirrels, and Slime Time Live. But that's not all. We've expanded this token pack to cover a variety of formats with new tokens. Stop on by theepicstorm.com/shop and make an easy decision to elevate your combo game. Alright, so we're in match 3 and we're facing Jacob, a supporter of this channel. Pizza's on the play. Also, what a great username. I don't think, we don't have Ad Nauseam here. We do have Thoughtseize. I mean, I would keep this, but I'm not happy about it, Tony.
I'm fine with it.
I
There,
think it's
this hand is fine.
ridiculous we're not on the play. Ridiculous.
It is very likely that this is the mirror match. Pizza has been one of a number of people who've been jamming this deck.
So unrelated to this league, Tony, I know that you're someone that's been looking forward to, I believe it's called the Mycosynth Gardens. I was
Yes.
looking at Haruya today to order some Japanese cards because that's what I do, and they're already available on
Yep.
Haruya. And I was like, oh, are they? Because I was like, oh, we could like try to um, play the Mycosynth Gardens in the video tonight, and then I realized it's not being released for like another week on Magic Online.
Yeah.
Kind of bummed about that because I was like, oh, we could actually play. It is the mirror. We could play the Gardens because I know that's like a card that works really well with Echo and a bunch of other stuff, but unfortunately, just not how it panned out. I'm
Yeah.
gonna bobble them and see what the card in their hand is. It's
The
Cabal
Gataxian
Therapy.
probe.
They have a therapy in their hand, so I think we're supposed to take it to protect our tutor.
Yeah. And then these other baubles we can just use on their turn.
Yeah. All right, so we're gonna draw one card off the Urza's Bobble here. Basic land, upkeep. They're drawing a bobble. They play the bobble.
See what I mean? If we had more Urza's baubles here, you just don't get as much information
They have
since we
Wishclaw on
thought to use
top.
them.
So, Tony, are you saying that people should be preparing for the Black Saga Storm mirror match?
Oh, those were the two best. Yeah.
You heard it here first. You better be preparing for the Black Saga Storm mirror match. TonyScapone said so. I'm just trolling, Tony. I believe you. All right, hold control. We're gonna play tutor. I have a confession, Tony. I don't miss Infernal Tutor. Like, I know that I played it for like the first 10 years of the Epic Storm or whatever, but I don't miss Infernal Tutor at all. I am Wishclaw through and through.
Well, why can't it be both, Bryant?
Well, because you can really only love one of your children the most. That's why, Tony. People say you can love them equally, but can you?
But
Can you?
Brian says, no, pick a golden child and make it known.
Exactly. I bet there's a bunch of parents right now going like, "Yeah, I do like that kid more." See, you're just being honest with yourself.
I think they're dead.
Yeah.
Haven't done the math, but
Oh, we should have gone lower. I didn't realize, but we drew 25 cards off that. I wonder how many more we could have drawn. My record, Tony, by the way, with a deck that is a Storm combo deck in Legacy is 39 cards off ad nauseum. Without like any cheeky things like Angel's Grease or whatever. That doesn't count.
how about Shadow Spear? Does that count?
Is cheeky? Yes.
Because many a times I've drawn the actual entire deck, and then you can keep revealing, even if you have no cards. Fun fact.
All right, hold control again. We'll put Infernal Tutor on the stack. Add 3 red. We could Burning Wish Repair.
We could. We absolutely could.
Although I like pizza. We're not gonna BM pizza. Also, I'd be willing to bet that pizza watches this match tomorrow.
For sure.
All right, so how do we board for the mirror match?
Um, let's see. We certainly don't want ley lines. We want well, we want our discard. Um, and I'm not so sure we want to. Like Haywire Might and Needle are useful, but are they better than discard? We're on the draw. You can dodge discard a lot with this deck, I suppose.
I
So
like the idea of
maybe
resubmitting.
uh, let's play one Haywire Might in place of one discard spell. I don't mind having access to it. This has a lot of potential.
I mean, we have 8 tutors off the top that win. I think we keep.
Yeah, plus Saga, discard, you know. There are other things going on. Just putting 2 LEDs into play is nice.
All right. City of Traders, Lotus Petal, Lion's Eye Diamond, passing the turn. I want to lead on Duress.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Well, it looks like now we're in a similar spot. Actually, we're in a much better spot. We have Double Saga. Yeah, I think
Darn, that was
we are currently
stinky
winning.
for them. They were 1 mana away. Sorry, pizza. It's worth mentioning that Jacob is a big supporter of both of our content and these various Storm decks and just the Storm community in general. Pretty good player, good member of the community, just all around good dude.
Would agree. Saga, and I just feel like we're going to run away with the game at this point.
Yeah.
Saga will tick up to 2, and there's the ball game.
Oof. Not a collector oof, just a big oof. Wait, what about Saga?
I guess.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter.
That's how you know that Pizza is a Storm player. In the chat, Pizza said, "Hey." See, Pizza knows what's up. All right. So we'll do black, red.
We're 1 shy of Pier.
All right. Activate the Wish Claw.
I didn't say hi. I said, "Hey."
All right. Storm 3. Pizza did not draw my break trap.
You can tell him yes. I think it's a reasonable keep on his part. He just needed 1 mana. I suppose you could assume you're going to get discarded, which stinks, but I don't know.
Neither do I, Tony. I'm just out here casting 0 mana artifacts, praying that I don't get hit by Meltdown ever.
Never, ever, 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 ever.
Your opponent brings Meltdown to your local. What you do is you slash their tires and tell them not to do it again. All right. I should probably try to win the game, right?
Ryan's just out here making blue mana.
Yeah, I mean, why not? You don't like blue? Blue's the best color in Magic, Tony. If you're not making blue mana, what are you doing?
My favorite deck plays blue.
Then how come people call it Ruby Storm, Tony?
Yeah, the Epic Gamble, you mean? He plays blue.
Yeah, I know. I'm joking about people calling it Ruby Storm because it's red. Bad joke. Ignore me. I'm not funny. But I was right. We did win our round. We're 3-0, 2 rounds left. Tony, are you feeling confident?
You know it.
All right, match number 4 coming right up. If you're still watching, make sure to give this video a like, comment, and subscribe. While you're near the description, here's a reminder to use our affiliate links if you're going to make a purchase from Amazon, Card Hoarder, or TCG Player. Just above those affiliate links, you'll find our social channels. Make sure to join those to connect with us. We're on the draw. Not ideal. We were on the draw last round. We won anyway. Our opponent's name is Centinea. I don't know what they're playing, but they have an Azorius avatar. Tony, I'm going to go ahead. We haven't faced it yet. I'm going to say initiative. Blind guess, did not look up their username.
I'll trust your gut.
My second guess would be Cephalid breakfast for the second time.
I think it's 4-color control.
Okay. Would you like a backup guess?
Cheerios.
Wow. Just going for the 0.00001% Cobalt deck. I like it. You know, usually Storm players are a big fan of math, but not that TonyScapone. This hand is really slow. Do you keep this?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's it has a very solid Saga plan with an impending combo plan. We're probably gonna have a kill when our first Saga goes off, because we can go turn 1 Wishclaw, and then we have 2 redraws. So I think this hand is actually faster than it looks.
Well, it's not Cheerios, so we can count that one out. And a Panda. But they did pick up Tropical Island, which removes both of my initial guesses. So, Tony, your primary guess of 4-color control looks like it could be it.
Looking pretty good.
All right, we'll take a draw. I think we
Okay.
just want to play this out.
There you go, Saga, Bobble, Bobble, Opal, Wishclaw.
Exactly. Gotta love that metalcraft.
And we can afford to use both baubles too, because we have Volta Whispers if we want it.
I think we should wait on one of the baubles to see that if our wish call lives through prismatic ending.
Good call.
The drunk Savannah.
Ugh.
I
What a gross land.
guess we do have Ancient Tomb. If they did like ending us.
Right, to keep the sagas going.
Yeah.
I just feel like 3 draws, we should be good, and we probably want to be moving things forward. Are they hitting Opal?
They are
Okay.
in fact hitting Opal. We'll take a redraw. And I think now
Yeah.
we're just going to play out the Ancient Tomb and use that to make constructs. We'll draw 3 cards this turn.
Hopefully, Opal plus discard.
None of the
Reverse Saga
above.
is not terrible. This Ancient Tomb is looking pretty good.
Part of me wonders if we should just leave this bobble and play to pump up our constructs.
Yeah, at least for a turn or two, you know. Play it by ear.
Yeah. I like it when you let
Yeah.
your inner Boston out. Brainstorm. Here on the channel, I like to say Panda, Flusta, big fan of Tinka. But that's actually how Tony talks when he's not recording.
Pretty much.
You've got to be pretty sad. I mean, you had the Leaving a Legacy events in your backyard, and now those are gone.
Yeah, I mean, Michelle did say she would run tournaments, so we'll see like how that materializes. But yeah, I do like how I won the last one though. That's nice.
Storm won the first and last one. I won the first
Hey,
one the day before the death ray banning.
nice.
All right, I'm technically I should have waited to draw, but I was always going to do this. Um,
I say my gut says Opal before like really thinking about it here.
I don't think we
Because
need
that would
mana
allow us.
though.
Well, it would allow us to play another saga and duress them this turn.
Okay, I
And
like
then
that.
we have, yeah, we have 2 more sagas incoming, so we can get like, you know, redraws or
No,
LEDs or whatever.
okay, I can
Well,
still play a saga. It's fine.
yeah. You're fine. And we don't necessarily need to gain life, right? So we don't need to like rush on Shadow Spear.
Endurance and
Minsc.
Uro. Get out of here, Minsc.
Yep. I mean, it's one thing if we had like 1 saga, maybe 2, but we have 3. I think this is just going to be 2. I mean, I will say these control decks have been running more and more dress down, but even then, I think we could like stagger this last saga just to not get blown out by dress down.
They did not shuffle here. All
Like
right.
a way that you can kind of play around dress down is by doing things like getting baubles off of your sagas, staggering them so that they have to answer them. Ooh,
Wasteland.
Wasteland as well. Okay.
It's kind of brutal.
Yeah.
So they have endurance and
They hit Ancient Tomb. Nice.
I don't know if I think this tie is that. I think we don't know the other card.
I think you're right. I don't think I would cash in bauble.
Yeah, definitely
And
not.
I'm pretty happy they hit Ancient Tomb. We just draw Shadows
Ooh.
Pair. That's pretty
Okay,
good.
so we can Dark Ritual.
Yes.
Yeah, we're a
You'd
Storm
be
deck.
surprised how often Dark Ritual just pumps into Saga and Shadow Spear.
Would you play the Saga here or would you play the Vault?
I think I would play the Vault. We're already threatening enough, especially because we're gonna activate again next turn. And this is where we can kind of like what I was saying, just stagger the sagas, play around dress down.
Ugh, 14.
Yeah, I mean, we got some 7/7s.
I'm going to hold on the bobble.
Old.
A.
Hey.
Okay, so we're facing 4-color. Tony, you were right. I was wrong. And since you were right, tell me how to sideboard.
I just bring in one Haywire Might. Um, we could think about Pithing Needle if we want to stop Wasteland, but they don't typically play for Wasteland.
And they're an ending deck. I don't love that plan.
Yeah. But I like the Might because sometimes you get got by Deafening Silence, and we will, we have 4 cards that tutor it, so it's a decent pickup. What would we take out? Probably just an Urza's Bauble.
You know, Tony, there's this expression of if there's a card you board out every round, you just shouldn't play it.
Sure.
This hand is, wow. That's what this
Wow.
hand is. So game 1, we were the Urza Saga deck. Game 2, we're the Storm deck. They'll never see it coming.
Nope. Can you imagine if we draw Dark Ritual or Lions of Demon?
So let's just talk this through. Actually, if we want to cast Duress, we're a mana short, so I think we should just play our discard spell.
Correct. Yeah. We have exactly enough to add Nas, but then we would forego. It would be all in for almost no
They
reason.
didn't play Deafening Silence.
What is happening?
What?
That has to be a mistake.
What?
I feel like did you pay them?
Yeah, I paid this person to get into queue and then not cast their spells against us.
Yeah, like are they an actor? I just
I'm gonna therapy naming expressive here. Because if they drew Force of Will, it's their only blue card.
Although if it's Brainstorm, could be in trouble, right?
Don't let anyone know I don't know how to spell.
Wait. It
It
doesn't matter.
It was always expressive iteration, Tony.
Just lands.
Always.
Well, it's tough. The tricky thing about Deafening Silence is you got to pay a white mana, and then you do have to announce, and you have to cast the spell.
I'm just trying to think here if we have lethal. So if we play Wishclaw, that's from 7. Sack Diamond, go get another diamond, that's 8. And then we're 1 storm short. Opponent had enough. We're 1 match away from greatness, Tony.
I'm surprised they didn't scoop with a Duress on the stack.
Tony just out here bullying our opponent. They're going to watch this and be like, all those people going A are all jerks.
Listen, I'm sorry. I'm sure it was just a misclick. It's no big deal. We're just playing.
All right, match 5 coming up. Ah, geez. With Card Hoarder, renting your favorite combo deck has never been easier. There isn't a more affordable solution for Magic Online. Want to play the deck in this video? Check out the pinned comment below to easily rent the deck from Card Hoarder. Did you know you can rent the Epic Storm from Card Hoarder for as little as 7 tickets a week? We've made it simple to do so by including a button to rent the entire deck at theepicstorm.com/decklist. The 5th and final match, we're facing A-Bomb Diggity, Adam Willis, Elves Expert, but Adam also has tons of range, can literally play any Legacy deck under the sun. We've opened up a turn 1 win. So we have a pair of diamonds, a Mox Opal, Cabal Ritual. Our best draw is one of our 10 discard spells. No way that I'm shipping this. Bayou, we don't even need a discard spell now. I'm sorry, Adam. You're just another person in the way of our 5-0 trophy. Urza Saga.
Nice elf, nerd.
Lines of Diamond. Mox Opal. Tap this for a black.
Here's the real question.
Cabal Ritual. Am I playing Shadow Spear? Yes, I'm playing Shadow Spear.
That's another one.
Yeah, I mean, if you've got it, flaunt it, Tony, right?
Well, the other question was he casting Cabal Ritual or imprinting under Chrome Mox? The big decisions.
I mean, I want Metalcraft, right? I'm being facetious, but when you have everything, you might as well just cast your spells.
Yeah, just do whatever you want.
Okay, and that's the ball game.
Confirmed magic cards entering our hand at an alarming rate.
We don't have anything that kills us from here, right? We've already flipped the 10Ds.
Correct. There is only 2 drops and under from this point.
I just wanted a dark ritual. Was that too much to ask? Um, fine.
The turn one Storm player. I wanted to win the way that I wanted to win.
Exactly. I didn't want to have the Burning Wish, but it looks like we have to now. If only I didn't cast that stupid Shadow Spear.
And there's something in me that just doesn't want to activate the LEDs. Like all those cards going into the graveyard. What if something happens?
All
We did
right.
it.
We only need one more game, Tony. I think we've only lost the one game in match one. Yeah, look at
Yep,
this. All the other ones have been 2-0s.
that's right.
Stupid Cephalid breakfast. No one likes you. All right, how do we board versus elves? I imagine we want Fatal Push and Slaughter Pack for their collector, or I'm sorry, Collecta Oof.
Electa Oof, yeah, we just want our 3 removal spells, Slaughter Pack, Fatal Push, and Feed the Swarm. You don't want Aether Spellbomb. Aether Spellbomb is mostly for Thalia and Archon of Emeria. You really don't want Aether Spellbomb because the only creature we're really trying to remove in this matchup is Collector Roof, and you can't activate Aether Spellbomb with Collector Roof in play. So we have these removal pieces, but we're on the draw. So we can take out. I like to keep Shadow Spear because sometimes it does get scrappy, and we don't want to. Elves is a deck that can just put like infinite blockers out there, doing tricks with their little elfy nonsense. So we can take out some discard spells
I thought you were going to say
and
Urza's
bubble.
Bobble. Yeah. The card that goes out in every match. Are you okay with boarding out Cabal Therapy here? I don't feel like it's a matchup
Yeah,
necessarily for therapy.
that's that's fine. You don't want to take out too many discard because we do need a density of discard to deal with things like Force of Vigor, things like Mind Break Trap.
Um, Unfortunately, I think we're
This,
supposed to ship this.
yeah, I really wish we had if we had a permanent black source, I'd probably say let's go for it. Uh, I think we keep this. You just mold it.
Yeah, because this hand is better.
Yeah, it is.
Less is better. I think we get rid of the Wish. What would you do?
Well, the thing is, like 99% of the time, you're getting Thoughtseize turn 1 from elves. Like they're mulling hard to Thoughtseize. I can pretty much guarantee that. They kept on 7,
Is it
so I
this?
think they're not casting the other thing anyways. Yeah, yeah. I guess my concern is they can probably take Thoughtseize and then wind up Collector Roofing us, but we don't really have too much um agency when you're on a mold of 5, right? Wow. The 1%. I stand by the 99% getting Thoughtseize.
I am the 1%. All right. Mishra's Bobble.
Ooh. I
Green
don't think
Sun
I
on
would
top
use
of
that
their
one.
deck? Oh.
That's really bad for us. Yeah.
No justice.
I don't think I would have bobbled on our turn though.
I wanted it to
Because
inform our Thoughtseize. This like if they didn't play
yeah,
Thoughtseize here, like they probably don't have it.
yeah, I guess that makes sense. Is that the worst though when you look at the top and it's like the card? It's the card.
It's not even a Thoughtseize bug. Like if we discard a Green Sun here because we already know it was on top.
Hmm.
Force of Vega. We have
Yeah, I
to
mean
take that.
we have to take it, yeah.
Then we're gonna get
So we're gonna
Oof.
get Collector Oofed. We need to find our Pact, or we need to find Swamp plus Fatal Push, or Saga. What?
There's a Cradle. And
Oh,
now the
right.
Green Sun for 2.
Yep. Or we need to find Saga plus Soul Land. All
Yep.
right, we have a Swamp.
The problem is that I think this Allosaurus Shepherd is going to kill us very quickly.
It is. We pretty much have this one draw, I think.
They have
If
Bog,
that.
Grist, and one unknown. If we could draw a Fatal Push, we can push the Collector Oof into Wishclaw. Another Green Sun. Oh, they have double Oof. Sure. That's what I get for BMing in game 1. Alright, we're game 3 on the play.
Um, we might actually want Cabal Therapy on the play,
Really?
especially since we've seen 2 oofs. Yeah, I would take out a couple baubles.
Okay.
I would keep one Urza's Bauble. I like having access to both effects for Saga.
So what are we doing?
Just take 2 Mishra's Bauble out and bring in Cabal Therapy.
Okay. I mean, I wouldn't make this change personally. So my thought process here is we're on the play. We want to maximize Opal. Um, I could be wrong, but is this a keep?
Um, 1, 2, 3,
I don't
4.
hate it.
I don't either. Although, if we're gonna keep it, I think we might actually want a Saga first. We don't want to get Thoughtseized.
So if you
Their
don't
plan is,
hear me out, if we play Saga first, you're asking to get blown up by Force of Vigor. Because
yeah, that's true.
they're
That's true.
mulling to 5. I think we just lead
It
on
wasn't.
Belta Whispers.
Yeah, and Thoughtseize.
Can I bobble them? I'd like to know the top card.
Yeah, that's. I would.
Bendhorn, Reclaimer, Fiend Artisan. I think we just take the Fiend Artisan. Okay. Lion's Eye Diamond. Okay, that's not bad. Turn 2 Witchclaw, turn 3 Win. Let's go. Reclaimer or Fendhorn? Fendhorn. Lion's Eye Diamond.
Yeah, I'm kind of terrified of this natural order. I'm not sure I would have taken Fiend Artisan.
I mean, we're going to race the natural
Although,
order.
I guess it's like the same thing as natural order as far as how quickly they can put Oof into play.
So they have Order and 1 Unknown. We're just putting little old ad nauseum on the stack.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, yeah.
Dark Ritual, which apparently costs black mana, if you could believe that. I mean, I didn't know that. We could play around Mindbreak here.
Yeah, I would. I don't think we need to. We still get to keep these cards in our hand, which is nice.
Okay, from 17. We flip the 4 right off the bat.
Oof.
Okay,
Yeah.
come on, deck. We need to see some zeros here.
Okay. E. Okay.
5. Mishra's Bobble. We're at 3. We're safe to flip 1 more. Lotus Petal
That'll.
versus Bobble. We'll stop at 1.
I
Okay.
think we got it.
We'll duress here
Is
just to make sure the coast is clear. We got it!
is indeed.
Tony! We did it!
Hey.
5-0 with the TonyScapone special. Thank you, Tony. This was really awesome. I hope you're as happy as I am right now because this was a blast.
Yeah, that was a fun league. I think for the most part, the deck just kind of did what it's supposed to do. We didn't really have any of those just like, super unlucky draws or anything like that, which is nice because that's always frustrating when that happens. So what do you think? Obviously, this is your first time kind of running through this. I'm sure you've seen some of the Discord chatter about it and kind of seen it pop up here and there. But what is your overall feel of this deck?
It doesn't have enough white-bordered Royal Assassins. That's my first thought. We should probably add some of those in there. So my honest feedback is I'm not in love with the Cabal therapies. I think it is a filler slot in the deck. I think that it could be 2 more baubles or something else. I do think 10 discard is a lot, and we never really saw the effective use of therapy in this league. It was really carried by Duress Thoughtseize. My 2 cents.
We didn't really draw it, to be honest.
Yeah.
We just literally didn't see it much.
Yeah. I mean, I just think that this could probably be something else. I don't know. I feel like the deck succeeded in spite of Cabal Therapy almost. I'm a little bummed we didn't get to Helmline anyone. Honestly, I don't think I'd change anything other than potentially these 2 therapy slots. I thought the board slots made a lot of sense. I don't know. It's just like 10 discard is so much. It's a lot.
It is, but I've found 8 is just insufficient. The thing about the decks I guess the only other Storm deck that really plays them in the main deck. I know you've been playing some sideboard ones, you bring them in and whatnot. But when you have cantrips, you can cantrip 2 additional discard when you need it, right? Cantrips can kind of pivot you and put you where you want to be. But when you don't have cantrips to lean on, 8 is often just not enough. There's too many cards that you have to discard, and you need a high enough density where you can, stop their plan with the first wave of discard and then go after the Force of Will if you need. So I have found, there are some things that I think some unsolved issues with the deck, and not that when problems come up, they can't always be solved, right? Whenever I find a problem when I'm trying to construct a deck and tune it and whatnot, first I try to solve the problem, and then it becomes, if it's still a problem, solve it as best you can without warping things too much. And
It's worth noting
I don't know.
Your deck could be a really good Deadly Dispute deck. I know that
I
it's like a Pauper
literally
All-Star.
my last list, and I gave what is the most in my mind stock so far, so that we could play that. But the last like 5 leagues, I've been trying Deadly Dispute, as you're suggesting, and it is probably about the 4th time that I've tried to slot it in, right? Because when you're testing cards, sometimes they don't work out, and then along the way, as you tune, the deck changes, and it's important to double back to some cards to see if maybe differences render the card now useful again. And every single time, without fail, when I play the card, it's very difficult to evaluate because sometimes it is very good. It's almost never terrible, but it's just not, the power level is just not good enough. Like, I could sit here and talk to you for 10 minutes as to why it's good. It has all this like hidden synergy, right? I'll bring up 2 small things, right, that are really good for this deck. One, a very real problem, it doesn't come up often, but it's real, is being able to make green mana with Haywire Might when Chalice on Zero is in play, right? You wind up having to activate 2 of your sagas. One, to get the Haywire Might, if you draw it and Chalice on 1 isn't there, sure, but sometimes you have both. You got to you got to use one saga to get a Haywire Might, and then another one to get an Opal for green mana, and it can be a daunting task. Whereas with Dispute, you can get green mana through Chalice on 1 or 0, and then the other thing is it can respond to someone removing one of your constructs or pending your Opal, or even wastelanding your Vault of Whisper. You can do the cutesy little trick with your Wishclaw Talisman, activate your Wishclaw, hold priority, and then cast Dispute and cash in. But all of those things, and there are more, right, are niche or take like rare or awkward setup to perform. And so when you have this density of like cool things that you can do, it makes it like inflate the importance of the card, especially on top of the fact that it is just like flexible. But I've just found it's just not good enough. And Cabal Ritual is really good. It's really good. I think
I think I would be looking at it over Cabal Therapy and possibly over Urza's Bauble. I wouldn't cut Cabal Ritual. I would look at these 4 slots.
Yeah. We'll have to play the deck some more, because I am certainly sold on the 10 discard, and I've really been liking the Cabal Therapy. It really comes up with the Saga tokens and being able to just continue to discard, or even just hitting multiple stuff in early turns is really good.
For sure. Well, Tony, it is late. I still have to edit this in order to get it out tomorrow. So I would like to thank you once again for joining us here at the Epic Storm. You're the best. I really do appreciate all of your support. And if you don't know this, Tony is a member of the Storm Discord. That link is in the description down below. You can always find Tony making sweet decks like Black Saga Storm in there. So definitely go hang out with Tony. Don't ping me ever. Don't ever ping me.
You get super salty about it.
Hate being pinged. So
ping the shit out of them just every day for a month straight.
People just like resurrect, they'll be like, oh, Bryant commented on this thing 2 months ago, and then they'll respond to it and I'll get a message. No, You don't need to do that. Just leave me alone. It's fine.
Don't leave him alone. You need to do that.
Really though, Tony, thanks for joining me. I do appreciate it. Hope you have a great night, and everyone else, keep storming.
Hey.
Hey, Bryant Cook here. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe, but also follow the social media channels down below. If you want to support this content directly, I would recommend going to theepicstorm.com/shop. And if you need a little bit of assistance with the Epic Storm to get to that next level, I would recommend going to theepicstorm.com/tutoring. Don't worry, there's more great content coming right up.